You're not alone. Life is change. Change is life. And winter has been teaching me that that is the only thing to trust in. To look to nature when I am scared. To see how she evolves and moves, lives and dies and lives again. There's wisdom, there's medicine, there's safety in that. I just wanted to come outside and be with one of my favorite blossoming bushes right now. It's a lace cap hydrangea, or lace something hydrangea. I am unfamiliar with the breed, and it was a pleasant surprise when it showed up in my garden this year. It's probably been here for a while, but I've just started getting more into herbs and gardening and flowers and stuff like that. So to me, she is new, but I'm sure she's been a silent guardian at this home while I've been here for a while. And this is the first year that I really get to just indulge in her beauty and sit with her beautiful petals. Yeah, they seem very mystical and euphoric. Yeah, so thank you for tuning in to this video. I don't have any script. I'm really just wanting to share from my heart and kind of get myself out of this perfectionist and OCD like tendency to just kind of not put anything out, not produce anything, not work on anything because I'm feeling stifled, or I'm feeling like it's all not coming together in the right way, or I don't feel like I should be where I'm at. There's just a lot of judgment and tension that I've really been moving through this winter. And I say winter because it is spring here, and in about a month it will be the summer solstice, which is amazing. This is like my favorite time of year we're ramping up into, and I am in an internal winter. I am not yet sprouted. I am still in the quietness and the slowness and the patience and the waiting and the resting. And I've been having a hard time really letting myself linger there and receive the medicine of what this season is going to be doing for whatever growth is to come on the other side of that. So I just want to share a little bit about what's going on and what an internal winter is feeling like for me, because I definitely know I'm not the only one who's been through a winter, and it will not be the last winter I go through, whether it's a seasonal winter or an internal winter. There's lots of medicine here. So I just want to drop in just for a moment. Yeah. And I invite you to drop in too, and just to be curious. Maybe you clicked on this video because you're also in winter, and maybe you're in summer and you're just really into cycles and you just were curious. Just notice. Yeah. So I thought, funnily, looking back, that I was already in the winter of my life about 6 months ago. I was like, winter's here and January's here and I'm still in winter and I'm going to be doing all these wintering things, and then I will be lined up to like bloom and begin blooming with the season of spring, and it all will be beautiful. But looking back at where I'm sitting now, I was actually in a deep fall, and I wasn't actually honoring the fall that was really there for me. And it was a lot of release. I went through about a 6-month, maybe even 7-month period of slowly beginning to let go of things that I loved. Moon ceremonies, in-person moon ceremonies, one of them. One-on-one sessions, my business as it was, some of these things that I love and all the work that I love doing just really started calling me to set it down and to release it. And I had a lot of resistance because I love, love, love those things. So it was a slow descent there. It was also a slow descent into accepting the things that really were ready to be released, and I was just being very stubborn about it. A lot of this had to do with studying some income. I have been an exotic dancer for about 7 years, off and on, probably a total of 5. I had taken 3 years off to start my business and do all of my beautiful things and all the ceremony. And I had found it back in my life on like very small doses this last year. And it was just very clear to me that that was not in alignment anymore. And I needed to kind of just leap and trust that where I was going to be exactly where I needed to be, and that I could actually close this chapter instead of just semi-closing a chapter. You know, there's really big medicine in fully closing a chapter so that a new chapter, a new season can begin. And I used to practice either burning bridges like incredibly quickly and or kind of always leaving the door open so that I could, you know, go back to what was comfortable when I needed it or when I think or thought I needed it. And I was really being challenged to put those patterns and that way of being down and to deepen my trust in life and to really let myself release what has been, right? Like leaves falling to the earth, how a tree just effortlessly lets them go when it's time. So that's kind of a couple of the big things. And then there was like internal things, right? Like all of this brought up internal themes around like scarcity and beliefs about money and beliefs about worthiness and value. And if I let go of my business and this thing that supplements my income, what am I gonna do? I don't have any of the answers. I can't let go. So it like really brought up all of this scarcity and all of this worthiness and just this wound of value, really, and safety. Safety was another big one that came up. And so there was a lot of fighting in this fall. And I think that dissonance, that fighting, kind of made me believe I was in a archetypal death, which I thought of as winter. But really I was in an archetypal fall. I was in the process of letting go, release, release, release. Lots of control tendencies, lots of safety, things I would do to secure safety. All of this stuff had to just like slowly be teased away. And it left me pretty, and this probably started back in August of 2024. And this was through winter. So probably through March. It was a long time, a long fall. And it felt really scary because by the end of March, I really did feel stripped, like totally and utterly stripped. This was not just things I was letting go of, like a business and old habits and old belief systems. This was like a stripping of egoic identity as well, and things that I sourced my value from, things that I sourced my identity from, which was a huge lesson, right? In all of these things that we get to do as beautiful humans that we are, the way that we go about doing those things and the meaning we put behind that is really important. And if we are, like I was, a little bit too sourced in what I'm getting externally instead of remembering that my worth and my value and my safety and belonging are innate. And these are things that I get from me caring for myself, not necessarily showing up in the world and giving for others or whatever it is that you do. That was like a huge thing for me to learn. And there was a lot of pain in that, and there was a lot of grace and deep, deep grief. And it was when I started to just surrender, finally. All of it had left. It was like a fight to get there, though. But I remember like the end of March when I let it all go and I just finally collapsed and I took a breath. And I just like let my body land on the ground. I think it was sitting under a tree or laying on the earth at some point. And tears started like swelling in my eyes like they are right now. And I was just swallowed by grief. March, April, and even into most of May, like I have just been swimming in this grief. And grief is really like such a beautiful emotion to feel, but it's so overwhelming, and it can even feel a little like powerlessness in there. And it can be really frustrating, especially for someone like me who loves to just like, who has all these ideas without meaning to, and then wants to create them in the world, right? So grief is saying, slow down. You're in the winter of your life. And my mind is saying, no, look at outside. It's beautiful. Everything's blossoming. I want to blossom too. So I'm going to like force myself through this. And it just wasn't working. Every time I did that, like my body got so tired and depleted. It just was not an option for my body, which I'm grateful for. So I slowed down these last 2.5 months, and I've really just been in this portal of grief. Lots and lots of witnessing of, you know, the parts of me that don't feel safe, the parts of me that are scared, the parts of me that are terror, not just in my own world, but just looking at the world that we live in. And honestly, just sitting with whatever tears and frustration and anger and resentment or resistance came up. Sometimes I didn't even know. Sometimes I just needed to cry, or I just needed to be frustrated, or I just needed to rest and feel and breathe with my body. So that's kind of where I've been the last several months. And in that, like, I love doing moon vlogs, and I have this whole vision where I just want to do like moon vlogs through every lunar cycle. And it's still in my heart, it's still in my joy. It's just not in my season. And I had to let that go too. All these ideas that I had for my YouTube channel, and you know, my business and all this stuff, all of it just had to go. And while I was waiting in these rivers of grief, it finally clicked somewhere between March and now that this is winter. Right now I am in winter, and grief is my midwife through death and into rebirth, right? Through the releasing of attitudes and identities and patterns that just are not mine, and things that, yeah, sure, I want, but they're just not in season. Grief is the water that is carrying me through, washing my bones, washing my body, washing my cells, washing my life, renewing me with clear intention, clarity of thought, clarity of breath, clarity of heart, clarity of mind. You know, a lot had to be released. And I do feel like I'm getting towards the end of that. I don't feel so succumbed with my grief anymore, and I do feel that spring and summer hopefully are on their way, and I'm not in this winter for the rest of 2025. But I also noticed my attachment there. So I'm really trying to just surrender to the grief in these waters, and to land in this newness that is wanting to come forward, which I've labeled as the in-between. And I do feel really in between, and it is a really sticky place to be sometimes. I really feel my desire to push through and not sit in the uncomfortability of not knowing, right? As a human, I know that my mind craves knowing. And when I don't know is usually when I tend to freak out internally or emotionally. And I don't mean like freak out in big gestures or anything. I just mean like internally. I could start controlling things a little bit more. I'm not OCD, but I have noticed I've had like OCD tendencies when I get really stressed. When I don't feel like I'm in control, I will start to like manage myself a lot more, and I will start to be like over disciplined and like not giving myself rest. So there's just a lot there to kind of sit with and be with. And in this in between, I'm surrendering my need to know and really trusting the cycles of life. Cycle work, as many of you know, is like my deepest passion. It's something that has like entirely woken my life up and continues to unfold and challenge me and initiate me in new ways. i.e., I'm really learning what winter means. I'm really learning what fall means. Not just the mental understanding of it, but how it lives in my body in this particular moment. And that's going to be different next year and the years to follow, and when I'm 40 and when I'm 80, stuff like that. And it's just such a gift to have this knowledge, and yeah, sure, to understand the logical patterns of it and to get it on an intellectual level, but to really slow down and to feel it on a body level, on a soul level, on a heart level, on a womb level, and really let the magic move through you as these seasons live through us internally and externally. So yeah, I am nearing the summer solstice, deep in the winter of my life. And so my blossoming isn't going to be what I normally picture a summer blossom to be, at least not in this moment. Who knows? By the end of July, I could be feeling very different because I'm honoring this moment of in-betweenness. And that's just where I'm at. This is just where I'm at. I'm in this in-between. I've been through the waters of grief, as if I was metaphorically through the birth canal of life. We're born in water. Grief is water. Tears are water. It's ushering me into a new life. If I can let go, if I can surrender, if I can trust, and I can just be in this pool of in-betweenness and let myself unravel until I start to unfold and blossom. So I just wanted to tune in a little bit with where I am in the winter of my life and what it means to be with that, really. It means slowing down and really just sitting with my plants. Everything has fallen away. My practices are very minimal right now. I used to do all this somatic dancing, which I still do from time to time when I have a lot of intense emotion. I used to journal and meditate and go to the gym, and I used to play lots of instruments and just practice and be creative and write poetry. And a lot of that has just kind of, well, it did for a while, it all just stopped. I had no practice for a while. I couldn't even build an altar, let alone like record a video, journal. Couldn't do any of it. I just was unraveling, dying in my descent. And now I'm beginning to collect down here in the underworld all the gems and all the things of my new life, and begin to take root and begin my ascent upwards. In meditation, I was given the image of a seed split open. So the seed is split open. So I have planted many seeds, and the seed has split, and now life is beginning to sprout, but it's deep, deep, deep underground right now. And that is where I'm at. So all of these things fell away so these new things could come in. And that doesn't mean that my life stopped. It just means that my life dramatically shifted, especially when I let go and I stopped fighting it. I have birthed some beautiful things in this in-between phase, creative projects, and some beautiful blossoms too, but they are just in the beginning stages. They're nowhere near, what I think a spring or summer blossom would be. So I'm just really sitting with that and like also taking the time to notice, like, look at the life that is already here, because I was brave enough and courageous enough and willing enough to let go of some things that were no longer in service of who I was becoming and who I wanted to become. Sometimes that had to change too. I had to let go of who I thought I wanted to be and just let spirit move through me. During this time, all these practices that fell away, there was one practice that really, really came up, and it was making herbal blends and sipping tea and my cacao. Obviously, cacao has never left my spirit. And I spent about 5 months really hardly able to eat. I had a really hard time drinking water. I did, but it was just like a lot of old wounds came up, and it made my body shut down in certain ways, and food just was really hard to digest, and water was really hard to ingest, and I was having a lot going on. So tea was my way of helping my body ground and be open to medicine as food, or food as medicine, and water. And I actually made some really beautiful blends that helped regulate my hormones and fix some of my cycle symptoms of like painful periods and things like that. So it was really such a gift, and that's something that came out of this winter. I actually now offer these teas into the world, and it's a source of joy for me. They're small batch, and I just love them so much. And I just am now, sitting with my garden and sitting with the herbs and just slowing down and being with the earth right now. That's my practice. Sometimes I journal, my energy is beginning to return. Sometimes I will play my handpan, but right now it's really tea and resting and waiting. And I think in this world, waiting is something that we kind of push against and we think is wrong to do. I know I had a story about being in like the waiting area of my life, or era of my life, and sometimes you have to wait. You just have to wait for the right time of day to pick the strawberry. You just sometimes have to wait for the right time of day to harvest and do. And until then, you just let life move through you, and you try to get out of your own way. I'm nowhere near perfect. I still fight all the time. And right now, the earth and being outside and being around herbs and making tea and just communing with the flowers and the life around me is what is really restoring my heart, my body, my womb, and getting me through this deep grief era of winter. I'm wintering to life, and I'm excited to see what my internal spring and summer bring, but right now I am just trying to slow down, trying to be okay with where I am in winter. I'm celebrating and honoring and gently laying to rest the versions of me who were amazing and like produced all these beautiful things in the world. These in-person ceremonies and dancing was like such a joy to me. I loved being a dancer for 6 years, and I had to really grieve a part of that. And I celebrate those versions of me because they are the bones of who I am today. They are the roots of who I am today, the compost that is serving the life I am stepping into. And I don't know who she is yet, but I love her already, and I love who I have been, and I have so much gratitude for life in every season, and I'm learning to love winter. As a July baby, I am learning to love winter. So I just wanted to bring some of that here in case any of you are navigating winter or you feel like your internal season is at odds with the seasons that are around you. You're not alone. Life is change. Change is life. And winter has been teaching me that that is the only thing to trust in. To look to nature when I am scared. To see how she evolves and moves, lives and dies and lives again. There's wisdom, there's medicine, there's safety in that. Yeah. It is just a couple days after the Gemini new moon, so I just wanted to pop in and offer this. This is where I am, and I'm just gonna go with it this Gemini new moon and see what this air, this lovely wind, can bring me as I begin to reawaken in my own time. So I'm going to drop some of the links to my tea below if you would like to check it out. It's for everybody, of course, but it is specifically designed for women who cycle. And it doesn't mean that you have to be cycling. You know, you could be in menopause, you could not have a cycle at all. It's for your body, it's for your hormones. And I would love to just bring that here for you all. I also wanted to offer that in the free community that we have, me and my partner Martina, we have a free community just where women come to gather and share their wisdom and magic. It's super casual, it's super fun, and sometimes, not every cycle, we do a free moon ceremony. So that's in there as well. So I'm gonna leave the links to that below. The new moon ceremony is in there, and yeah, it's just a couple days after the new moon. So if you would like to kind of be in ceremony and kind of ground yourself into this Gemini season and get some ground to all the air and the crazy chaos of duality and idea generation and just feeling overwhelmed, then this is the place for you to land, and we would love to see you inside of Circle and inside the community. We're just a bunch of fun-loving women who just love to share and connect and bring what's real, the good, the bad, the winter, the spring, the summer, the fall. So I will leave all of that down below. I love you all so much. And one more thing, Martina and I do seasonal lunar living containers. These are online, and they are pure magic. We meet 5 times in one lunar cycle, and we really get connected to that particular season, not just summer as it lives externally, but summer as it lives within us, and how to work with that if we're not in the summer of our lives, which I'm not. So that starts at the end of June, June 25th, the Cancer new moon will usher in the summer solstice and the 3rd lunar living circle. So if that is something that you feel drawn to and you just want to be connecting to your cycles and your seasons and honoring and embodying what is real for you, this is absolutely the place for you. And we would love to see you in Circle and be there with you through all the seasons and phases of your cycle, whether it's menstrual, lunar, seasonal, whatever. I'm sending you all my love, and I hope that you are having a beautiful spring day, and summer's just around the corner. Cheers.